It's a common knowledge in astrology, the Mars in your chart rules your sexuality. But do you know that the Pluto in your chart rules your orgasm? In this video, we are going to dig in to the most enigmatic planet, Pluto. Even though in astronomy is planetoid, astrologers still think Pluto as one of the most powerful planets that we use as the tool to read your chart. So let's dig in. Hi, this is Nissa with VNS Mystery School, and you're watching Cosmic Little Lessons, your adventure every Wednesday to bridge the gap between you and the language of the universe. In this video, we are going to finish up our planet series of the outer trans-Saturnian planets with Pluto. Now, Pluto is a planetoid in astronomy, but we're gonna keep talking Pluto as a planet as it is in astrology, was discovered in February 1930s. If you think about that time, 1930s, this is the era of the Great Depression. This is the era of the world wars. This is when revolution, death and rebirth, and metamorphosis in a big way happens. So Pluto here in your astrology chart, it is a catalyst of transformation. It rules, like I said, birth and rebirth. So a death to a caterpillar is a rebirth for the butterfly. And this is perhaps the most metamorphosis of the butterfly is probably the healthiest way to approach the inner workings of Pluto in your chart. Now, Pluto here has the association of the sign Scorpio, and this is why you've heard the buzz that Scorpio is the sexual sign, and it is true. Scorpio rules the sexual organs as well as our letting go organs. So that whole segment right there, it is the scorpionic realm as well as the our center of power, that is a chakra center for all of us as well. And this at its core, it is the sexuality that is so primordial that the 8th house and Scorpio has the instinct to merge with another. And this is why sexuality sometimes is more of a conversation. But then after you meet your one-on-one significant other in relationship in the 7th house, then you move on to the 8th house here, the domain of Scorpio. And this is when deep merging happens. Hence, when in sex, when that occurs, that is when orgasm happens. So Pluto, Scorpio, and the 8th house, this whole archetype encompass that realm. So now let's talk about how Pluto here, it is the higher octave of Mars. So therefore, Mars rules 2 signs, Aries and Scorpio. It's all about force and defense. But the way I differentiate the 2 signs, Mars is the first battalion of the soldiers when it comes to war. But Scorpio, it is actually all the spies and all the espionage that actually won the war in that way. So that's why the placement of the 8th house, the Scorpio, the Pluto in your chart here, it holds so much power. It is known in astrology as our unconscious mind. And where you're unconscious, this is the darkest realm of ourself. And this is, of course, is as above. Pluto, it is the last planet that we've seen so far by 2019. And it talks about that distance from the sun, the distance from light. And when you're encountering the most outer distance from your light, your shadow, the unconscious, you actually tend to project that to another person when you work it out. I've heard it from Frank Clifford through a friend, this analogy with Pluto. When you're not dealing with Pluto in your chart and you keep trying to hide it under your house, this is the kind of stuff will actually shows up forcefully in your front lawns. So you want to make sure in your holistic relationship with yourself that not only you own your part of lights, but you also are familiar with your shadow self. What do you project onto others? What is that reflection of you that may not be conscious to you, but through this archetype, you can integrate that and use it to your personal strategy. So, tell me what you think so far. Are you getting the fact that the higher octave of Mars than Pluto here rules that power of merger? The eighth house here also talk about life and death, because when you're merging with life, it's birth. And when you're merging with the underworld, it's death. And in the cosmology that I choose to believe in, there's no such thing as beginning nor end. Only incarnations have the birth and death. But what's our spirit soul here is just to experience its own evolution through our lifetimes. And how evolutionary astrology was that statement. And it's true, I actually learned a lot about the archetype Pluto through hashtag evolutionary astrology. And some of my favorite teachers that I've known from, that I learned about the archetypes of astrology came from this paradigm as well. So you guys should check it out. So, what do you think so far? What is the enigmatic, unconscious part of you that you may have projected onto your significant other? In so many ways, we created our life because we cast the characters that we want to play out in our own drama. That is the life that we live in. So thank you so much for watching. Now, if you're in Bay Area, I am actually throwing a beautiful evening tuning into the Scorpio season. And of course, it's called The Light and Shadow in Your Natal Chart. We are going to take cosmic little lessons live. We're going to recap from everything that we have learned since the very beginning. And I want to see all people that have been following me to see how you're doing in a real life situation. I want to see how you can read your chart, and so that I can talk more astrology with more people. And that's all I really want to do. So thank you so much. Please check out the links for tickets. They're on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and also check us out on Instagram. I write most days. On YouTube, I only produce once a week video, but I'm also going to expand more videos in the very near future. So thank you so much for staying tuned to Mystery School. And I will see you in the next video or Life in Berkeley. I'll see you then.